You guys, I showed you before Chris came on the funnel, and at the top it had social media, SEO, content, all of the different marketing things, and then it said, number 1, are you an option? If answer equals yes, and remember when I went through the math and said the total number of searches, and then you understand your bounce rate and your conversions, and I said you can predict the financial future of a business if you understand this algorithm. This is the spreadsheet to show you how to do that.
Literally, it's all about supply and demand. A lot of people look at your website visits over time and they'll see a drop, but they don't take into account shoulder season. Getting into the HVAC space, that was kind of one of my biggest things, was the seasonality made it difficult to show attribution of the work in a consistently moving up style unless you had a full year's worth of data. So believe it or not, we started using a few different algorithms that would look at the search volume versus impression share, which created a relative ratio. But at the end of the day, this month, 208 people searched for AC installation. That search has a buying mindset value of $6,300 for this customer that was given to us by them. Based on the percent of closes that they get, and working with understanding the attribution, meaning what keyword produces what kind of close, you can get an average understanding of the average close rate and value. So again, starting at the demand for each search after producing the valuation benchmark, we start out at 200 people search for that. Well, 13% of people clicked on the position based on where it's positioned, bringing us 28 website visitors. Immediately, because it's the industry standard rate, 54% bounce. Now, our job is to share with our customers each one of these metrics, because as you see, if you change any of these numbers, the amount of money you make at the end of the day is very significant. So in the HVAC world, you got a bunch of gauges that tell you what's broken, what's not. For us, we look at these 4 numbers. And if the bounce rate is too high, that means too many people are leaving the website. If 80% of people are bouncing as soon as they come to the site, the number of interested prospects drops down to 6. And so conversion rate, and this conversion rate is done against the click-through rate. So that's how many people convert to a phone call. And then once they convert to a phone call, was the CSR, was the customer service able to close them? And that'll turn phone calls and form fills into customers. So this is a numeric version of the user journey, from visitor to interested in a prospect to a phone call to a customer.
So you guys, let's go back from the beginning. If the website is insecure, take that bounce rate and move it up to 80%.
Yeah.
And if the website is insecure, that your bounce rate. If your website is insecure and you're using an AOL email address, now your bounce rate is 85%. Now, if you go to the website and the website has negative reviews, your bounce rate is, it's not, because
your conversion
rate just sucked. So your conversion rate went down. The number of people who clicked through went to nothing. Now, let's say you had bad reviews and your bounce rate changes because as soon as I get to the website, I can't tell if you're even in my city. I landed on your website, you've got palm trees all over, and I'm in the middle of Colorado. It doesn't make sense. The market to landscape or message match didn't click. So now your bounce rate went up again. The higher your bounce rate and the lower your click-through rate, the less money you make. The total number of pages on your website, that's how many services. So when you look at keywords, if I want to go after AC installation, but the page doesn't exist, take off $42,000 a year. If I want to sell AC service, but that page doesn't exist, take off another $509 per year. If I want to sell ductless air conditioners or heat pumps or furnaces or boilers or anything, if it doesn't exist, the keyword doesn't exist, you take off the line. If you scare the consumers before they click through, then you have no click-through rate, take off the money. If you scare the consumers once they land on your website, your bounce rate increases, your money goes down. If you don't give consumers an ability to chat with you at midnight, or to schedule an appointment on a Sunday, or to send you a text on the 4th of July on a holiday when your AC went out. If you take away any of those elements, either your click-through rate or your bounce rate changes. And when it changes, your cash goes down.
Right. This is a funnel. Every step in the user process, this is where they have a need. I need an HVAC repair. And believe it or not, if they type in repair and your page says maintenance, you lose that psychological continuity. So knowing what your local audience types in is very, very, very important.
Now imagine if I searched for AC repair and I landed on a page that was about AC repair, and I searched for Cypress, Texas, and it had houses that had brick and looked like Cypress, Texas, not stucco and looked like New Mexico, right? Or siding and looked like California. What if it matched? And then what if on that page I had a promotion that said we're doing AC repair call, and we had some boldly audacious claims, on time or no service drive fees, right? What if we had some bodacious claim just for AC repair, always on time, or your service is free? What happened? And then what if we gave people the ability to schedule a virtual appointment, or chat with somebody online, or text, or click to call, or book an appointment to have you call me on Friday? Everything you do right on each individual page improves how much money you make.
Right. And there's ways to visualize this data too, to understand all the different trajectories that users go through. In analytics and several tools, you get flows that give you information as to what that audience acquisition overview looks like, and what that behavior flow looks like as they, I wonder if there's a way to redact this. So kind of just looking at different flows. If you're doing this with intent, you can see this page had these different exit paths. This page had these different exit paths, and start to draw a intent down for your audience, so you can kind of understand what direction they flow through the page. Because even understanding it's more than anything, there's no rinse and repeat. It works all for everyone pattern. Believe it or not, there are mindsets with customers. They're first, and they pivot against the buyer journey. So the buyer journey is, researcher, comparer, and buyer, and those are the stages. You permutate those across the different personalities, demographics, psychographics, behavioral patterns, and then you multiply that by the mindset. So the mindset is speed first, quality first, or price first. Either A, their stuff broke and they need it fixed right now. That's emergency, it's broke, I need it fixed. So they could carry. And then close second is quality and or price. If they've ever been screwed over in the past, quality is going to be more important than price, as well as urgency. And some demographics, and again, this has to do with the median household income. It has to do with brand loyalty in the area. If it's highly conservative versus Republican, there are a lot of indicators that we gather to give us assumptions when we start campaigns. But at the end of the day, knowing your customer, and we have to work with our customers to get to know their customer. Because the worst answer is, who's your customer? Somebody with a broken air conditioner. Great. So there is a process to really getting to know your customer, to really create the connection with them. And the website being a digital version of the storefront, it's got to look and feel like you're there.